I'm giving somebody the blues today.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the EVO Awards and which players came out on top. Most notably for us Tekken players, Arslan Ash. He won one of the biggest awards and it was a great moment. He had an incredible speech. I'll play it in just a second. But one thing that I do want to talk about with the EVO Awards just as a whole is what happened last year. Last year was the first time they did it. It was a great event. But, you know, they were given awards out. The event is supposed to be about celebrating fighting games, right? And Street Fighter is the biggest fighting game, hands down, right? So when they did their award the first time around, Street Fighter just straight up landslided the whole competition and walked away with all the awards. And a lot of people felt like it was just a Street Fighter award show. Street Fighter, EVO congratulating Street Fighter for being the biggest tournament. You know, Tekken didn't even win that many awards there. I think it won like one, maybe two. And if Tekken, which is Tekken's Street Fighter's biggest rival right now, if they only win one award, you know all of those other anime fighting games and smaller fighting games ain't winning nothing. So this time around, this year, it's something that players wanted them to address, and I think they did so very good. The awards were given out much more evenly across the board. And I know when I say evenly, it sounds like I just want participation trophies given out, but the point of this award, that's not the case. The point of this is to celebrate fighting games, and Street Fighter is the biggest one, and you can't just allow for people to vote for the biggest content creators and then or the biggest game and then they win. You have to find some type of new method that kind of like highlights every fighting game, right? Here is the results. You can see the EVO winners for each. I won't read all of these. There was a lot of different categories that was hit, like best dress went to Reinhardt, best content creator is Rafflemonger. They did cosplays. We'll talk about some of these in just a second because some of them are a little controversial. Some of these I think are very wholesome. You can see best game release went to Fatal Fury. There wasn't too much competition there. I mean, you do have 2XKO that kind of like didn't do so hot, but other than that, what are the what other game could really challenge them? I know they were promoting virtual was it Invincible Versus very heavily at this event, so hopefully that game can win the award next year. They will have some competition, but maybe they'll take it. So one thing I want to show you guys was this tweet here. First off, you have Hall of Fame. These three people, legends, were inducted into the EVO Hall of Fame. I think that's great that they do that, and it's kind of awesome. Best content creator went to Rafflemonger, and you can see the top like tweet response to this is someone saying, "You got to be kidding me! This guy is very bad. He plagiarized video scripts." You know, basically, they're I don't know what the full details of this is. I don't know if Rafflemonger ever apologized. I don't know if that is based in some type of like, you know, facts or something like that. I don't know. But I just know that it's cool that Evo could highlight a content creator that like Rafflemonger who doesn't have the best history, who doesn't have the best track record. Like a lot of the times, only the people who are the squeakiest and the cleanest get kind of recognized. And the fact that someone who maybe have this, you know, I think that's fire. And I think that shows that other content creators, if they messed up here and there, it's not the end of the world. You can still go out there and you know, do good and win awards, right? So to the people who are hating on him for winning, that's what I think. It's like everyone's going to make mistakes. It's just about how you learn and adapt and overcome, right? Another great award that was handed out is to Tasty Steve. Last year, I think he was totally snubbed for not winning Best Commentator of the Year, but this time they gave it to him. And his speech is powerful, so I'll go ahead and let that play uninterrupted. Listen to it.
And like I said, I don't know how much time I got. My man hit me with the line, "I got you." It was Seg, for the record. He hit me with the line. The last thing one of my aunties told me at final round, James, you know this, and before I quit my job to do this, my 9 to 5, I had benefits and everything. I was suited and booted. She told me, and I quote, after walking around at final round, she came to me and I said, I'm having an issue because I have an opportunity to quit my job to do this full time, no support. And she said, these people in the community will not let you fail. And I quote. So thank y'all.
It's cool that Evo can kind of like give people like Tasty Steve their props. You know, because these big award shows like Game Awards, they host these kind of awards as well, and they try to give to commentators and what's called. But when you're talking about the larger world of gaming and competition, all the awards is just going to go to League of Legends and Counter Strike, and no one else is going to get to eat, right? So it is good that Evo can give a legend like Tasty Steve his moment and his praise, right? So I think that's awesome. And that's what I really like. Because some people were like, who cares about this award? I did turn it off. I thought it was kind of boring. But what it means for the people who are like really dedicating so much is great. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the best cosplay. This person won best cosplay. And I think their cosplays are pretty fire. I mean, I could show you a little bit of it. Let's not get the video DMCA'd. This is her with her award. This is her most recent cosplay. She has some Tekken cosplays in here somewhere, but she does a lot of cosplays from so many different uh, games and characters. Like some of this, I don't even know what this is. This is Street Fighter Alex, right? She does a lot of cosplays, and I know her cosplays for Tekken and like with Reina be going crazy. Now, some of these are like more provocative than most cosplays, and that's where the controversy comes in. Um, this one tweet here was kind of like trying to shame Evo and shame this person because they do OF. And they were basically saying like giving an award to someone who does OF is kind of like disgraceful. And I personally don't really care. Like, I think caring this much about what someone does to, try to make a living, to try to do whatever, I think like you gotta like, who cares? As long as it's not illegal, as long as it's not hurting anyone, if you're happy, that's all that matters. If you're able to make a living, if you don't feel trapped, and like that's all that matters, right? And I did see a lot of people pushing back. You have this tweet here with 1,500 likes where people were kind of was bringing that up, like, bro, so what? She do OnlyFans. Who cares? You don't have to. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to support it. But is that going to take away? Like, is that going to? Are we going to diminish everything that this person accomplished because of it? Now, this is where we talk about Arslan Ash. He has won Player of the Year. This is a very, very, very big and important category. And Arslan Ash walking away with this is kind of fire because correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Arslan Ash didn't he win 2 EVOs? He won EVO Vegas and EVO France. That's pretty fire. Now, it is kind of a rare thing where someone can win 2 EVOs in a year, but you do have to keep in mind that next year there's going to be 10 EVOs, right? So we're going to see a lot more players dominate EVO and all EVOs. I mean, think about it like this, right? If they were to buff your character and your character is like super strong and super good, and then you have one hot year, let's say you have one hot year, you get a season 4 update, you can landslide all those tournaments, right? Maybe you'll lose a couple, but I think we're going to start seeing more people dominate a lot of EVOs and walk away with a lot of awards. The era of someone winning 4 EVOs and being a legend is kind of over. We're now in this era where EVO is kind of like more frequent, and you're going to start seeing people have like 20 EVO awards, right? But still, EVO is kind of representing the toughest competition. And with it going to so many other regions, right? You talk about 10 of them, one in China and stuff like that. We know that there's some crazy Tekken players in China. So if you can go there with very little knowledge about China and then still dominate, it will mean something. And it does mean something. And that's why he wins an award, because he's been dominant for so long. And even when the game tried to nerf him, he was unnerfed. I remember Harada and Michael Murray was talking about how they use Knee and Arslan as an example of how people won't just be able to endlessly turtle and you will be able to break through their defense. And everyone was thinking like, oh, how's Arslan going to survive? He's going to survive by becoming one of the players who use that to his advantage, use it the best, be one of the most aggressive, deadliest players. And we see he is dominating. And with him moving, moving to Japan, we will see how this era continues. He's learning a lot of stuff. He's getting a lot of experience, and we'll see what he do in season 3. He's experimenting with some characters. I think he will stick to Nina, but another thing I want to show you guys as well is Punk. Oh wait, Arslan's speech. Let's hear Arslan's speech, and then we'll talk about Punk's moment as well, because what Punk did was really great. But Arslan first.
Hello everyone, this is Arslan Ash. First of all, thank you so much for the EVO award. I am so happy and thrilled to receive this award. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there this time because of some family matters. Otherwise, I would have loved to celebrate it with everyone there. A funny thing is, last year, when I didn't win EVO award, Rick told me that I really need to step up my social media game. I guess.
Side note, that's a very important thing. Being a good player and being a good internet persona is two different things, and I see a lot of Tekken Pro players struggle with creating that internet persona. This is why some of the most known pro player names, they have very few followers because they haven't really understood that you have to promote yourself, you have to put yourself out there. And the fact that Arslan is learning that and have learned that, and that's kind of the reason why he got this award as well. It just shows that even though he's so known, he's so great, he has a lot of room to grow, and we're just seeing the beginning, right, for him and hopefully a lot of other pro players.
This time it worked out pretty well. Maybe I finally listened. But honestly, this award means so much to me because it comes from the community. Huge shout out to everyone who voted for me and supported me. My sponsors, big thanks to my sponsors, my team, my family, and of course the whole FGC. I will keep traveling, keep competing, keep grinding, and I will see you all at the next events. Thank you so much again. Bye.
Okay, so that's Arslan's speech. What Punk did was really cool. Punk won an award for the best pop-off, and it was really interesting. I think someone has it here in the description.
There's the punish counter. He needed that. He needed that hit stun.
This tournament was for 500,000, and Punk, you see, he stood up. He did a super, and he stood up and started running around the stage. But this super won't kill. So look, he lands a super, starts running around the stage. The super doesn't kill, and he runs back to the controller to try to seal the deal. Picks up the controller, sits back down, and then he loses. He loses. Eliminated. This guy now walks, I think it was 500,000 or 200,000. So he basically did the what are you standing up for and then loses after. And the what are you standing up for, that tournament was probably 5,000, probably 2,000. This tournament is 6 figures. I don't know if it's 200 or 500,000, but it's 6 figures nonetheless. Imagine that loss. That's a brutal loss. But still a good player. Still, shaking his hand, giving respect. And this takes a lot, right? In this moment, to lose that way, to still have the control to just shake his hand and be man, that's kind of crazy, right? That's a huge loss. But he won best pop off for that, right? And they don't have his speech here uploaded. They don't have his speech uploaded to Twitter. But we do have this tweet where he kind of said what he said in the speech. Basically, first he apologized because I guess he kind of popped off on someone who did something. I don't know. But here he says, I received this award. Once I received this award, I would like to give it to Zhao Hai, since without him, this pop-off wouldn't be possible. And since he won the set, he deserves it the most. So that's fire. He's giving the award to this guy here once he receives it. That's a tough loss. Winning an award for that is crazy. But that's the EVO awards. The goods, the bads, the uglies. The rise, the falls.